Hi everybody, myself Pranali, and today we have a very interesting topic to dive into. We'll be integrating our Docker image into powerful ecosystem of AWS. We'll be using one of the AWS services, that is ECR. ECR basically stands for Elastic Container Registry. It effectively manages, stores and builds Docker images on AWS only. So whether you are a beginner or intermediate, you will surely gain something from this video. So you make sure you watch the full video. You only need to have two requisites, that is, you need to have your Docker desktop installed on your Windows or your local operating system, and secondly you need to have your AWS free tier account. That's it. Okay, we'll be building our project in three parts. First part, we'll create a repository in AWS ECR. In this repository only, we'll build and push our Docker image. In second part, we would be configuring our local command line or local command prompt or local terminal to AWS command line interface using AWS command line tools, so that using our terminal only, we can push and build image. And in last and third part, we would be building and pushing our Docker image. So let's move to first part. So this is the basic Python web application, basically built on the Flask. Flask will run this. Flask is basically Python's framework for web application. This is basic web application. It uh, just adds the data items and just display it onto the screen. So yes, it is. Meanwhile, it is loading. I'll let you know that this project is available on my GitHub repository. I'll attach my GitHub repository link in the description box. You can have this whole project. You can have this whole project from my GitHub repository. I'll add some data, some items. I'll add some other item. Okay, so this basically adds here and stores here. This is basic Python Flask application. Now we'll create our ECR repository. So here, search in on it, come on to our AWS console and search in ECR. ECR stands for Elastic Container Registry. Here you can build and push your Docker images. So come on, click create repository. We'll be creating public repository. Name our public repository as any of your choice. You can give name of your choice. I'll be giving it as DevOps demo image. Okay, and you can write here a short description. Demo image for DevOps mini project, right? And then here you can configure your local system. It is totally optional. AWS would automatically configure for you, but I'll be selecting it. It is totally optional. About is totally optional. And without skipping all this part, we'll create our repository. So this repository basically would have our images. So right now, there's inside this repository, there's no images to display. There are no such images. So here we have our second part. So come on to AWS console again, search here. We'll create first user. We'll definitely have to have one user which would have some access key and all, so that we could access that user on our local system. So go on to click search IAM. IAM stands for identity and access management. We would create one user here. Click on left side, click on user and create user. We would name our user as DevOps demo user, right? And we'll click on next, and we'll attach policy directly. So here search as administrator access. Okay, so here it is. Click on the checkbox. We'll give all the administrative access to this user, and we'll click on next. We'll skip this part. Right now I won't be adding any tags. We'll create this user. So after user would be created successfully, now you can come on to the users page and you can create an access key. Now access key is you basically used for connecting Amazon's command line and your local terminal. So click on the command line interface, then click on I understand the above recommendation, click on next, and you can tag any of this like DevOps user, right? Create access key. So it would create access key and you can download the CSV file from here, which would have your access key and your secret access key. I'll show you that. And yes, so here in a local system this CSV file would be downloaded, and we'll click on done. And yes, here the access key would be created. This is active access key. Here you can see your access key, right? Okay, so the user part has been done. Now we would integrate the a terminal. So for that you have to go on Google and search for AWS command line tools. Go on to this website, install or update to latest command lines. Yes, so you will see the page here. You can have AWS CLI, and whatever a system is, whether you have a Linux system, your Mac, if you are using Mac, or I'm using Windows. So I'll click on Windows, and I'll just download this thing .msi, which would download it onto my local system. Would start downloading it. Right now I won't download it because I already have this thing. Um, I already have this thing. You have to just download it and install it on your local system. After installation, you have to check whether your AWS command line tool has been installed successfully or not. Just click on command prompt and tap here AWS dash dash version. If it's showing version, then there would not be any problem. Your command line has been successfully installed. Yes, so it is showing. Now we would configure our user. So to command line, AWS command line. So write down AWS configure. Here it would ask you for the access key and all, which we have downloaded right now. So from here you can open your access key, our access key, and paste it on here. Then access AWS secret key access key. So this would be our secret access key. I'll use default user your region name as US East 1, right? And I'll give default output format as JSON. So yes, your command line has been successfully integrated to AWS command line interface. Okay, so moving on to our third and the last part. So we'll come here, we'll come to the repository which we have created earlier in ECR. So we'll navigate to that repository. Here it would let us navigate to that repository, public repository which we have created. Click on select that repository, click on view push commands, and here these are all the commands which you have to copy and just copy and paste it into the command line. Now into your terminal, now just open your project directory wherever you have your project and your Docker file. Just type cmd in there, so it will open a command prompt here, and just paste this command here. It has been logged in successfully. Now we'll run the second command. We'll build our image, demo image, and copy and paste it here. So yes, it is building my image. Meanwhile it is building image, let's discuss why we used the Amazon ECR over Docker Hub, right? So basically it provides many of the features, such as first it provides security, then ECR provides the IAM user roles. IAM stands for identity and access management. So you can basically set some roles for some particular image, and for other image you can set other roles, permissions, etc. You can set in AWS, while in Docker Hub you can set, but to a certain extent. Next benefit would be in AWS using ECR, you can easily integrate your image with either ECS or EKS. Uh, Basically you are running you are uploading or building your image on AWS ECR only, so you can integrate with us the AWS services very easily. And the most important or most useful use case of AWS ECR is, right now I have built this image, right, and directly build and push this image on ECR. While when you're using the Docker Hub, you have to build your image first on a local system, and then you have to push it on your Docker Hub. You can't directly push image into Docker Hub. Yes, so that was it. That was some of the benefits of using AWS ECR over AWS or Docker Hub. We'll copy, our image has been built. We'll copy the third command and we would paste it here. Okay, so as soon as our image is built, we can see our image onto our Docker desktop. I'll let you see the image, and the last command, which would which would push our image into our AWS ECR registry. We would click enter and it would start pushing the image, and meanwhile we'll see whether our Docker desktop has this image or not. So yes, it has created the image. As you can see, it is showing it here. You can see the image has been created on our Docker desktop. Now to use this image or to run this image, you can easily run the command docker run and name of this image, and yes, it has been successfully pushed. We'll come on to our AWS console. We'll click in here, and we would, as you can see, we can see our latest image. Earlier we couldn't see any image, we could see only no image found, but now we can see this image. Now you can use this image, you can run this image anywhere on any local system. That's it for today, and thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please do make sure to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Bye.